Good afternoon to all of you, especially our guests, women of incredible talents. But before they introduce themselves, I would like to just state the order of events. I will begin by stating or restating the purpose of SDIG and our commitment to the issues of equity and social justice for all. In addition to that, I will then pivot to our guests who are unique in their various ways. And those uniquenesses bring the power of what we allude to say diversity. When you negate it, you miss. You may not even realize it, but the fact is that is occurring before our eyes. And then after which they will introduce themselves individually and answer a question that will follow through. The second part is that I'm going to give people some time to respond to ask them questions. If you have a question that been perplexing you about how women are handled or treated, or whether it's overt or covert, these are the specialists. You can ask them any question you want in that area. This is where it fared the best for me because I just listen and get education, which we all need. Unfortunately, it's not often that we get it. Some people are even pushing it and sweeping it under the door, the rug, that we shouldn't do that. So again, I'm the person representing this organization, Systemic Diversity and Inclusion Group. The organization was formed on the grounding that we understood the pain of those who may have not been represented, understood what Du Bois called, double consciousness, what people have to go through in order to actually survive. There was a colonel, the first African American woman colonel, who was, interestingly, where London is, which is Japan, in the 50s. And I'm just wondering, could we imagine what she had to go through? Because we know that Japan is not as, at least physically looking at things, diverse as other places like the United States. If it's difficult for people to navigate those routes, just imagine what it was for her in the 60s. SDIG was formed essentially to provide opportunity, more importantly, the platform to people who are often silenced can come and say who they are rather than people telling them who they are. It's a platform that operates and accentuates the power of the First Amendment for people to be able to share their ideas. Otherwise, some people will stifle it or bury it under the ground, and you will never see light. So we are the voice for this voiceless. We do not support any kind of discrimination. It doesn't even matter whether any of our members like it or not. Whether we are talking about transgender or sexual orientation, which I think some of people are having qualms with those. At SDIG, know that you are welcomed. Know that you are allowed to express your feelings, your views. Be authentic. That's what we stand for. So let me shift gear immediately. In an effort to continue that work, we have people who partner with us. For the last 5 minutes, I've been just getting all kinds of things that, this prevented them, that prevented me. That's okay. But we proud ourselves for our members, especially those who are committed to the cause. Because it may not be one person it may be one person today, tomorrow it will be another person. But collectively, we will be able to do much better. So now I'm gonna shift gear to our audience. They will be, to our guests. They will be answering few questions. My colleague titled them the really trailblazers. So what will happen is that they're gonna introduce themselves individually, and as they introduce themselves individually, they will also tell us how their personal and professional interests converge and ways those conversion can be connected to SDIG operation as they see it, or what we might characterize as broader diversity and equity initiative of SDIG. We focus on women. Okay, so the first one should go to our let's go to the lady coming from Japan. Can you take the time and respond to the question? I mean to say, Lyndon Thorp, could you respond to that question, please?
Hi, everybody, and welcome from Tokyo, Japan. I'm honored to be with you all today, and I come as a lifelong educator, a Buddhist priest, and now a mentor to women and change makers around the world. What fuels me is very simple. It's birth, not physical birth, but the sacred process of helping people to be born into their true potential. So, for over 30 years, I taught in universities all over the world, really, often witnessing students, especially women, hiding their brilliance behind cultural expectations. In Japan, where I live, the educational system prioritizes obedience over originality. So I chose to break that mold with my students. And as a Buddhist, I saw the pain of the unexpressed self and knew my work was to help it emerge. And that's what DEI means to me, creating space for truth to breathe. So now in the digital space, I do the same, mentoring women across continents to reclaim their voices, their financial freedom, and their futures.
Thank you so much for adhering to our time. Next person would be our in-house brilliant lady, Professor Namita. The same question, please.
Okay, so my greetings to everyone. I'm Professor Namita Rajput. I'm professor in commerce and teaching in Delhi University for more than 3 decades now. So it's a pleasure to be a part of SDIG. And this is the work I have been doing almost like since 25 years now. So I'm running my own government recognized non-government organizations in India. So I work pan India and also very specific to rural areas where I work for the cause of women and child. I've been empaneled in Ministry of Women and Child Development as a post trainer. We have a law in India called Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace, Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal 2013, and also a POXO Act, which is a very special act to protect the sexual offenses against children. So my focus area is children and women, and I do a lot of workshops to empower them digitally, financially, emotionally, and I have grown with them, and when I see them suffering, so every case is a unique case for my own awareness, and we develop the solutions which are very tailor made and try to attain the sustainable development goal number 5, number 4, and basically for inclusive education. We help the people who are underprivileged and cannot pay the fees. And also, in terms of when we start with the session in India, That's in the month of April. We go to the slum areas, take their wish list, try and give them some books and also the uniforms, the school bags, the water bottles, the lunch boxes. So we try and reach their hearts and also the wish list of what they want to eat. So this is what I do. This was a small introduction. So respecting the time, over to Dr. Nwoye, please.
Thank you very much, Namita.
Thank you.
All right. The same question to our special lady, Dr. Angela. Could you please go ahead?
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Angela Cleo Smith, and I'm in California, USA, and I'm really excited to be here today. I've had the privilege of navigating both my personal and professional experiences that deeply shaped my understanding of what Dr. Joseph mentioned about resilience and equity and empowerment for women, and that aligns closely with the mission of SDIG. So, just to give you a little background, throughout my journey, I've encountered challenges that have tested my resilience, whether it was overcoming the setbacks in my career or personal struggles. And I just want to mention that one particular moment that stands out is when I was passed over for a key leadership opportunity despite my hard work and dedication. So rather than let the setback define me, I used it as a catalyst to seek mentorship. And I invested in my personal growth and ultimately become a more effective advocate for change. So it was through these experiences that I learned how crucial resilience is, and not only in bouncing back, but in growing stronger and more adaptable. And I believe that women, especially, have an inherent strength in overcoming adversity. And me being a woman of color, I've seen how important it is to support each other in fostering that strength. And as far as equity, as a professional, I've always advocated for fairness and equity in the workplace, whether it was by champion gender equality, mentoring emerging leaders, or even actively working on policies that promote equal opportunities. So that's part of my background, and I've seen firsthand how essential it is to break down barriers and ensure equal access to opportunities. And this mission resonates deeply with me as I continue working toward a more just and an inclusive world for women and all women. And I just want to say aligning with SDIG's mission has been a natural part of my personal and professional journey. And I'm honored to be here today and a part of this discussion. And I look forward to learning. Hopefully, we can hear some audience questions. And I want to continue to collaborate on fostering that resilience, equity, and empowerment for women and for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Teresa, did you get the question or were you?
Yes.
Okay. Can you respond to the question just as the rest of them had done earlier, please?
Okay. Oh, yes. I write and produce film and television projects that are based on age, gender, and ethnic diversity. I break stereotypes in front of and behind the cameras, especially for
I
women,
love that.
Native Americans, and veterans. Well, the thing of it is, a lot of people are talking about inclusion and diversity, but they're thinking ethnic backgrounds. And diversity and inclusion need to be all inclusive. As a person who is way over the age of consent, ageism has something I've grown into. And there's some amazing people in the world, especially women, who are not being given opportunities strictly because they're female and their age. And so my projects, or our studio's projects, will be focusing on breaking those stereotypes and showing women of all ages for the beauty and the wonder and the creativity and the intelligence that they have. And the thing of it is, with the entertainment industry, we have the unique ability when we focus on entertaining rather than messaging to touch people's hearts. And when you touch their hearts, you can change their behavior and their minds and make the world a better place. And so that's our goal, is to show people as people and make diversity and inclusion so commonplace that it's boring, that, you know, we accept each other for who we are rather than who we want them to be.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can we imagine the talents that we are able to bring together? This is why SDIG is continuously pushing for engagement, collaboration, supporting one another, distilling different ideas and knowledge in order to enhance what we do. At the end, we find ourselves moving from lower contour of performance to a higher contour of performance. Because at this time, at this level, you've gleaned through all you have acquired among all of us. And when you put them together, you become what I always characterize among my students as knockouts. That's the those on the frontier. And when you do, people will know and they will realize what it means. So thank you so much for all your contributions, all you've been doing in the arena of equity and social justice. And I urge you guys not to be like the women I had the opportunity to address, and unfortunately, they happen to be just white women. So when I say, well, I thought women will encompass all the women, black, brown, white, and everything in between. And I'm yet to get a good and honest answer to that question. So I want you guys to keep doing what you are doing. Now we're gonna go to the next question, and the next question will go to Teresa. Teresa, I would like you to in point of all those things you've done, or the extraordinary work you've done that was expressed in your first answer, to glean further, to tell us, among all those work and achievements, which one stands most, the one that you are most proud of, and how does it contribute to gender equity, social inclusion, positive societal transformation? I guess the phrase it means to incorporate not just women, but also incorporate others, because we need to tag along all those who, for whom SDIG strives to see through equity and social justice for everyone.
That's a very excellent question. I think one of the things that I'm most proud of is, first off, getting the education that I needed, because that is the launching board for my entire career. I think my novels are something that goes a long way. But my novelette, A Butterfly is Born, is something that I am very proud of. It is based on the saying, what a caterpillar sees as death, God sees as a butterfly. And it's about how the caterpillar Shylon faces her fears and her angers that spring from them to become her best self, to become her butterfly. And it's inclusive, because everybody has fear on some level. Is what we do with it that moves us forward. So every time she gives into the fear, she loses her connection with God. But when she faces it, she finds amazing things in herself and in the world. And A Butterfly is Born was divinely inspired. It was given to me during meditation. And so I'm very proud of that, because it's, the cover has a young woman, but it's for everybody, because everybody has fear. And I like to deviate just a little bit and apologize to the world for what's happening in the United States and for what some white women have done. There is still intelligent life in the United States, and we are working to reclaim the best of ourselves. So please be patient with us. We're doing the best that we can, and we will come back to the world better and stronger.
Thank you very much. Let's shift to London, our professor in Japan. Would you please respond to the same question, or do you want me to repeat it? I can if you need to, and you can inch your type a little bit, because I felt like your time was a little short in the first one. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. That's lovely. Yes. What am I most proud of? Well, there are many things, and like Teresa, if I may call you by your first name, I'm a writer primarily. I've written several novels. I've also written other books. And actually, I'd like to tell you about the book I'm writing at the moment. It's got a very curious title, and it's actually about Japan, and it's called The Millionaire Midwife. And this is really a kind of business book, because I'm a Buddhist, okay, primarily, an educator, but I find myself now, at the age of 72, as a digital entrepreneur. And my mission really is to empower, especially women who are financially dependent and dependent in many other ways too, to step into their first-hand life as entrepreneur, like I have. And so my book, The Millionaire Midwife, is actually about my time teaching here in Japan. For the last 20 years, I've had the most extraordinary experiences with Japanese students, and especially female students, because here in Japan, although you would never know it from the polished veneer that this country has, but here in Japan, there is first-rate discrimination against women. Female students are merely secretaries for the boys in class. They have no voice. They are scared of saying anything, really. And so they are mute, mostly. So when I first encountered this, I was horrified, really. And I started to realize that I needed to deliver the souls of these women, because they were completely unborn, which is why I mentioned that in my introduction. And so, being a Socratic educator most of my life, I believe that everybody has all the answers to all the questions, all the problems inside them. And as Socrates did, it's just a question of bringing them out, mainly by questioning. So with my students, especially the females, I have really been involved as a midwife, delivering their souls. And I've had many, many wonderful deliveries, women who are now empowered, still in touch with me, and doing what they want to do, stepping out, creating companies, fulfilling their dreams. And this is just so wonderful. But my book is going to be rather derogatory about the Japanese education system, I'm afraid, because it really needs to be exposed. I have never seen such a low level of education in my life as here. And that is because there is no teacher training here. So in Japan, if you are an academic, you can do a teaching license, which takes 2 weeks. And then you are let loose into classrooms. And so mostly in Japanese universities, and I've worked in 7 whilst I've been here, 8. If you walk down the corridors and you happen to glimpse into any of the classrooms, you will see all the students with their heads down. They are either asleep or playing with their phones, and the professors are just spouting their research. And that goes on for the semester, and then at the end of the semester, there's a big test, and most people fail. And so, you know, the art of teaching has never been heard of here. And when I talked to many Japanese teachers and they asked about my training, I trained for 4 years to become a teacher when I was young. You know, in Britain, we have an amazing, rigorous system of becoming a teacher. You can't get a license for less than 2 or 3 years training. And they can't believe it. You know, they almost collapse with shock that, you know, I spent so long learning the art of teaching. And really, they have no idea what it means to teach. All they know is to transmit their research. And of course, their research is important, but they don't package it in a way that students can access it. It's not exciting. So most students just fall asleep.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay.
That was it touched me, because having seen different how education is done in different countries, it really underscores the importance of that sharing, which is in sync with diversity. Ignorant people will stay where they are. They wouldn't know what they know what they know, but they don't know what they don't know. But now it's a British woman being in Japan for a number of years and was able to carry that. The fundamental means, if we go into theories of learning, cognitive science, social, or the rest of them, they will know. But if they are the people that are willing to understanding other diversity-related issues, they would incorporate that into their toolbox and thus expand their reach. Unfortunately, we have some naive people who are like in position of power, and they use the power to stifle the spirit of acquisition of knowledge. We know the one that had been happening in Florida, where the governor DeSantis wants to close the history of African Americans, which I found it deplorable, because he went to the best schools. He went to Yale, he went to Harvard, and yet he's making those comments. If schools will listen to me, I will tell them to start recalling such certificates, that because they don't deserve it. Perhaps that's the one they will hear and understand the importance of what they're saying. Thank you so much. Well put. Well, let's go to our very own Dr. Angela Cleo-Smith. The same question.
Thank you. You know, just listening to the speakers, and then having authors in the room, and the fact that Teresa mentioned about what's happening in the world today, and Dr. Joseph just mentioned about Texas and eliminating African American history. Anyway, I'm writing a book, and it should come out probably in the next couple of weeks, but it is about diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's a workbook. It's a manual that can help people understand what these initiatives and what these concepts actually mean. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. I'm proud to be around book authors in the room. But to answer the question about my proudest achievement, since this is Women's International Month, I want to talk about a time that I led a women's mentorship program, and it spearheaded initiatives to support women in the workplace and in the community. So this particular initiative was meaningful for me, especially in my own career, because I witnessed how important it is to have women supporting other women, especially in spaces where voices weren't always heard. So through this initiative, I was able to create an environment where women from various backgrounds could come together, share their experience, and then provide each other with the tools and the confidence to navigate the challenges that we all face in our personal and professional lives. And what makes this achievement so special to me is seeing the tangible impact it had. Not only did the women who were involved, they gained new skills, they build networks, they advanced in their careers, but they also contributed to shifting the workplace culture toward a more inclusive practice. So I've seen how providing these opportunities for women has had a ripple effect, and it's empowered them. We advocate for gender equality, social inclusion, in our own spheres of influence. So seeing how these women now lift each other up, because we still come together and share opportunities, and we create spaces where others thrive. And it's a reflection of that lasting change that I hope to continue fostering through my career. And knowing that I've helped create a more equitable and empowering environment for women is so incredibly fulfilling. So thank you for having that question, because it's so important to share stories and learn about experiences that not only women, but all of us have, and how it can influence others. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I must have to shout out at Andrea, Joseph, and Adam for supporting our stellar women here. Thank you so much, guys. All right. It's interesting hearing Dr. Angela and incorporating what I heard from her and what I heard from Lyndon together. And for Namita, we know her. We characterize her as an intellectually heavyweight. So it's always a pleasure to have her. But as I had you guys speak, I couldn't stop it from my mind. It was just vibrating like this. These are awesome people. But guess what? Are they practicing this in a way that will synergistically get the best from them and elevate them? And this elevation doesn't come out of nothing. It comes from challenges. And those challenges, as Dr. Smith said, serve as a catalyst, I meant to say. And those catalysts are the things that elevate them to new and higher contour of proficiency. Now, what I'm getting at is that with Namita has a couple of books out, have some on the way. Angela has a book. She was telling me that she's at the final stage of getting it done. And Lyndon, whom I had read quite a bit of what her work, I love her work, is announcing her own to us. My question to them, they don't need to answer, but I want them to be thinking about it. What strategies have they considered that will be effective not only to elevate the stature of their work, but also the stature of members of SDIG? I can tell you, ladies, if you guys don't come up with the one that you can utilize the opportunity we have, which is our platform, to figure how you can accentuate it to a level beyond human comprehension, I don't know what to tell you, but I can tell you guys that you have it. You just have to come with thoughtful, realistic way to work it. As some people had suggested, we have reading, assigning books and reading it and commenting on it and discussing it and asking the authors questions. I felt like it was too much for me because right now I have enough challenge for myself trying to run this operation. That's why I'm putting it across for you guys to think. If you're part of SDIG, the time for thinking and the time to incorporate those ideas to maximize the effectiveness of what you do, the time is now. We have the film lady. These are things that we can incorporate and make each and every one of you much more powerful. The last time I checked, books that are considered as bestsellers are not necessarily bestsellers. There are some great books that nobody knows. The reason why certain books may be bestseller is because they have people, they have network, they have money, they have political, they have leadership, they have other skills that are supporting that. That's why they turn out to be bestseller. But if you really dive in, you see that we don't even talk about bestsellers. Not to say that some bestsellers are not good, like this one. I think this one, The Canary Code, is one of the best I've seen thus far this year. So I will tell you guys to look at your brain power, find ways to accentuate it so that people know they're never gonna know all you know. Just give them a little piece, and that little piece will help them to elevate themselves, regardless of their location. Yes, I see that Teresa is raising her hand. And Teresa, you can go, and then after that, you can go to the question if you want. Go ahead.
Actually, I would like to go straight to the question of how we can use our talents to better the world.
Hello.
There is a story
Yes.
about a group of women in the Middle East who were having difficulty providing for their family. So they created a cooperative where they chose one project to support. And once that project took off and repaid the loans, they received some of the profits, they were able to do another project, and it attracted more and more women into the group, which enabled them to support more and more projects. Within 2 years, they went from 200 women to over 2,000 women, and each of them were succeeding. One of the things that women need to get past is fighting over the scraps and start working together. And that's starting to happen, because when women work together, there's nothing that can stand in our way. But so there are so many women still who are so afraid and they're defending what little power they have, that they don't realize that by working with women instead of competing with them. Everybody succeeds. And that can be expanded to include everybody. Every little niche that is fighting over resources is actually undercutting their own projects and their own value. When people work together, the cooperative makes everybody stronger exponentially. And I believe that by every time we help someone, and this is a medical fact, that every time you help somebody else with an open hand and an open heart, you strengthen them physically, their immune system, but you also strengthen your own immune system. Additionally, you also, anybody who sees that receive the same benefit. And by working together with respect and compassion, we make the world a better place.
Thank you
and that
so much.
is what we're working towards, or at least
Right. Teresa, I agree completely with you, and I think that the idea you expressed now is not novel, at least for me. My first job was to serve as a cooperative organization inspector, and during those days, I worked with women. I work with people who found things they could not do individuals, that they can generate little they could to do that. The government will support them. I will help them write the request for loan. They will get the loan. They will expand. They will buy from their organizations. Some of them we are looking at putting telephone poles. Some of them we are looking at poultry. Some of them we are looking at the list is endless. So I understand the power of what you just stated, and SDIG is committed to helping, especially those who are disadvantaged and they cannot do those things as individual. However, we can work to support, we will, including the educational arena. So thank you so much for that particular point. It's very, very essential. All right. Now we have to head to Dr. Namita. You got the question, or do you want me to repeat it?
You just want to know my journey, my what I'm proud of.
Your journey,
right?
what you're most proud of, and how you've used it, not just for the work you do, but how, by extension, you've passed it along so that other people can use it.
Yeah. Okay. So let me start with this line that basically it's an honor and a privilege to share this space with such a dynamic and inspiring trailblazers, ladies around the world. So my salute to each one of you. So when you ask about my own journey, both personal and professional, it has been shaped by unwavering support and enduring values, which is imparted by two exemplary individuals, that is, my parents. They built me with love, nurtured my spirit with strength, and instilled in me the timeless, principles of integrity, humility, discipline, and in India we call it as seva, that is the sacred commitment to selfless service. So this is what I was brought with the value system, and from early age, I learned that these true success is not defined by my personal milestones alone, that is getting good scores and be good in the studies, but by our capacity to uplift others and create the spaces of belonging, dignity, and purpose. So, with this grounding, I embarked my journey in academia, once that soon evolved into a mission far greater than my own self. That is to make education not only inclusive, but genuinely transformative. And this is what I do. And over the past 3 decades, like if you ask me precisely, is 34th year of my teaching. So over this period, I have dedicated myself in advancing gender equity, social justice, and academic excellence. So I have authored, more than 50 books and about 300 research papers. And substantially, if you talk about the number on which I have been working on the gender issues, on the critical issues, on the LGBTQ plus AI, inclusion, and even the empirical research is also done on these topics. And amongst the contributions I hold very closest to my heart are the institutional gender audits, which I have been conducted because I'm a lead auditor for quality standards and also appointed as a auditor by National Board of Accreditation. So I go to various institutes and especially do the gender audits and also see the gender perspective of giving of the opportunities by the higher education institutes, etc. So this is one side I'm very proud of. Secondly, I have my own YouTube channel called Educational Voices. So which is also designed to democratize the high quality education and the mentorship of the new generation of the change makers who now lead with courage, compassion, and conviction. And at the end, I would like to say that every step I take, I always reminded myself, that it is the beginning and it is the biggest gift I can give back to my parents that they believe in me. And this is what I do. And I really, end my thought about what I'm proud of in a very poetic way. In every girl I empower, a future find its flame. In every voice I uplift, I challenge the biases and the blames. With the roots in equity and wings of fearless grace, I rise to lead, to serve, and to carve a juster way. Thank you.
Thank you. It sounds like music. I had gotten to know Namita quite a little bit. That's why I wish that we can understand the importance of collaboration, cooperation, and ways it can enhance our ability to develop and sort of put us in a much higher trajectory than we would otherwise even know. So I appreciate it. And as she was talking about, the person that stuck with me was a lady my mom adored, um, who um, who was my mom was considering her as the most selfless woman that has ever lived, and the woman happened to be Mother Teresa. So when she was talking, I was just thinking about my mom always talking about Kalakata or Kalakata. Can't say it right, but the work the woman did, and not only there, around the world. Her impact is everywhere. So I'm gonna stop there. Um, Dr. Angela, were you able to answer that question? I thought you did.
I guess it wasn't memorable.
No, oh my God! What can you say? It reminds me the poem, because I know I got that poem, which I'm gonna be coming back to you because it sounded great, or just that I don't have good memory. So the memorability of it wasn't your fault; it's mine.
No,
So
it's okay. No, yeah, I did answer,
good,
achievement
good,
too.
good, good. That's
Yeah,
helping us to navigate because time is running against us.
yes,
Now,
time.
let's go to the audience question. I hope the audience will be able to ask some questions. Last time we had, there were too many questions, and unfortunately, at that time, we didn't have time. Now, today, we may have time, but I hope that we have audience question. So, audience, could you please come up and ask your question? Mr. Adam will be able to mute you, and then you ask the question. You can ask the question as a general question for all of them, or you can call on any one of them you want to answer the question. Then you go for it. Go. If I don't get any question, then I'm gonna proceed. But in the meantime, you have the floor.
Well, I'll dive in if nobody else has an immediate question, and this is to everyone. In the face of the seemingly unrelenting pressure from the clowns in the White House to stop all measures of equity and inclusion, how do the professors in the room think that we might be able to break that particular movement towards suppressing inclusion, and how do we get it to a more elementary level? Because clearly people are not understanding even the basics of intersectionality and how it works. So how do we break this information out of the university and get it down to almost to the neighborhood level?
I'm not a professor, but I would like to answer it.
Absolutely.
Okay. We do that by, put it this way, film and television professionals do that by producing projects that challenge the stereotypes. And the audience does it by supporting those projects. We, again, we don't need to follow the White House's example. By standing with each other, we break the stereotypes and we circumvent them. You know, they only win if we back down or give in. When we stand up, there's nothing they can do. And whether that be recording, like the university student that was kidnapped off the street, that being recorded kept her a little bit safer. So it's by supporting each other and holding our representatives accountable that we will make the necessary changes. But, you know, it takes courage, it takes stamina, because what they want us to do is be fearful. And fear and apathy are their friends and they're our enemies. And everybody is capable of doing something, whether it may be marching or making phone calls, sending emails, faxes. From what I understand, sending a fax is, and tying up their office is a really great way to get your representatives' attention. And so I don't know if that answers your question or not, but
It's part of the answer, yes, I would say.
what part did I miss?
No, I'm just saying that in order to develop an appetite for that inclusive material, we have to get to them younger, because clearly 55% of white women voted clearly solidly against their own interests, because I guess they thought it was going to hurt somebody else and not them, not realizing that they are the lion's share of the DEI program was benefiting white women, yet somehow they missed that. So what
Um,
to get that information out so they have an appetite for this material that you're creating?
okay. One of the things that I like to point out is a lot of the white women that voted against themselves. It's Stockholm syndrome. And a very unknown fact is that a lot of white women receive the abuse at home that people of color receive out in the world. So they don't, well, they don't, you know, I was an anomaly in my family. When I furthered my education, my family actively tried to stop me, because I wasn't, you know, as a white girl, they considered the education to be wasted on me.
Right.
And that is the deep, dark secret of Caucasians, is that women are discounted, and it's the strong girls who actually keep things going and fight their families. And so women of all ethnic backgrounds needs to support the younger girls by giving them role models, by showing them that they do have options. And when they see them in real life trying to be better themselves, step in and supportive. Yeah, I was able to get grants and scholarships, but a lot of girls don't know they have that available.
Mhm.
And they don't have the strength after being raised in that culture to step out of it.
Gotcha.
And so by showing them we do have options, and to break the stereotypes and see things differently, that's how you break the stereotypes. But you're right, you do have to start at a younger age.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very good question, Andrea. Thank you so much for that question. All I can add is when you guys are discussing these things, keep in mind that there are some kids who may not due to the fault of their decision, they became males. They have their own issues. And I want you guys to, while you're doing this, be reflecting, be figuring out how can we get them moving forward. Okay, Lyndon is raising her hand. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm so sorry, ladies. Lyndon, would you go first? And then after which the Dr. Angela will go. Please. Sorry.
Yes, certainly. Andre, thank you for your question. I can't speak to politics. I don't know what it's like to be in America at this time, but I have a lot of American friends.
It's trash, Lyndon. I can
who
tell you that. It's just trash right now. So
I know it's suffering and I know it's terrible, but adversity always creates something wonderful, doesn't it?
that's true.
If we look at the Nazis, if we look at all the oppressive regimes that, people are history, that, are inevitable amongst human beings, then it's always adversity that will bring something superb out into the open. And actually, I believe that Donald Trump, even though he has many demerits, is really very human person. And I'm sure that he is thinking about adversity and thinking about bringing out most wonderful things. I know he wants to make America the greatest again. And I think it will be, but I think it will probably be because of this adversity, because of this clash that's going on. And, we can look forward to that, I think, in a very positive, on a very positive note. Forgive me not being able to talk really about what it feels like for you all there. But I do have many friends who tell me lots of things. So I'm just a kind of sideliner, really, offering a ray of light.
Thank you for the perspective. I think that's wonderful to share perspectives and learn from friends as well as foes. By so doing, you get a more comprehensive view of what is happening. Everyone will only talk based on his or her experience, based on history, based on what the person is seeing, based on what, and we may see one thing and have different interpretations for that. So I'm gonna leave it right there. Now let me go to Angela, you were raising your hand. Sorry, I didn't see you earlier, but go ahead.
No, it's fine. And I know, I'm thinking about time too. I think Mr. Robinson was right about starting with educating maybe young people first and make it simplified and age appropriate. I think books are really important. You can incorporate that and showcase diverse characters and cultures. But also, I was thinking there's some stories from the perspective. There's a book called Anti-Racist Baby, and it's by Ibram X. And it introduces concepts of anti-racism in a child-friendly manner, because I think if we don't share and let young people understand, because older people, I don't know, we are kind of set in our ways, but we do have to be an example for young people too. So, they model after us. But if you can't be the model, then maybe some of these books might be helpful. And, again, I'm writing a book about DEI, and I'm going to demystify some of those thoughts and ideas that people are thinking and using DEI as a scapegoat, as if something's wrong with it. And so I'm going to stop there, and so we can move forward. But thank you for your question.
Thank you so much for considering our time. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are immense. You fit into what my partner in crime characterized as trailblazers. You guys fit right there. So let me go right into our next session. It was the view of SDIG that we've had some wonderful people that have worked with us, and we, for lack of timing, we have couple that are supposed to be here for the award at minimum, but they are not here because they are already involved in another thing. But they will be meeting this evening when they finish. But I want to use this occasion to thank all of you, each and every one of you, on behalf of SDIG team. Whatever you see that is good, it wasn't from me. It came from them. Whether it's in terms of idea generation or formulating it or putting it into practice. I would, like for us to go into the sharing of our work. Well, this is for Dr. Angela Cleo Smith for her championing of holistic health and women's wellness. And we're recognizing her for these outstanding contributions and dedication to promoting holistic health and wellness for women. Next time, I want to hear not just women, but other people like us. All right. Thank you so much, Adam. And Angela, here is your certification for all the work you've been doing and continue to do. We expect more. Let's go forward and do more. All right, Adam, second one.
Okay. So just coming up, Teresa, media advocate for spiritual empowerment and diversity narratives. Dr. Nwoye, over to you, sir.
Okay. Is he gonna come where Angela's one where?
Indeed. It's there now.
All right.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful.
Well, you're welcome. It's well deserved. We wish we could add things to it, but unfortunately, we only say you put your coat where your hand can reach. So that's where our hands can reach, and then we hold the coat there. So we appreciate the work you do very much.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay, now we have, okay, I see what you meant, Adam. Now we have the one for our professor, Dr. Namita Rajput, for academic leadership and gender equity champion in higher education. So it's in this recognition that we give you this, a token of appreciation for the work you do. Then let's go to the next. We have one here for Patricia Pashney Chase, for media advocate for spiritual empowerment and diversity narratives. I like that. So, Teresa, this in commemoration of, or in respect to what you have done and how you continue to contribute for spiritual empowerment, community empowerment, and more importantly, looking at diversity narratives with plural. Here is one of our really great one, Sima Lieberman. She's the one that isn't gonna be with us, but she is truly champion of equity and social justice. She has a particular program that is dedicated to a program she runs, a convo, and that convo is a program she does around the world for sharing the plight of the vulnerables, especially African Americans. And she's a woman of character, distinction. She's a white woman. She's a model woman. She's a model Israelis. And her work is something that has been immense. And that's part of why we're able to display it here, even though she's not here with us. Now, Glendler is someone who has been doing a lot of work in the area of education, and she has been doing this in Middle East. I got a message from her saying that she didn't see the link, and I sent it through that one, and she obviously didn't get it. I sent it through her email. I'm not sure what happened. And we sent it again twice this morning, and apparently she didn't get any of them either. And I think we've tried our best, but she's really a powerful woman who understands learning, especially when it comes to literacy from cognitive standpoint. And that's what a lot of people lack when they're teaching people from urban area, from cultures that may be different from the culture the teacher may be coming from. And unfortunately, the teachers are not sufficiently trained on the power of cognition and literacy development. And then those victims suffer again. They are victimized again because they get to school, they're made to feel like they cannot do something, that they somehow they have cognitive deficiency. And some people actually say that, believe it or not, but they don't look at the problem, which is figuring how to get people to use their cognitive activities, their experiences to connect it to what they're being asked to learn. If you do that, there is nobody on the face of this earth who will not learn. Unfortunately, the power to be are sometimes very illiterate. Or rather, maybe I shouldn't say illiterate, but they are not informed. They are not informed at the minimum culturally. So that's the challenge we have. And we have to continue the course until everybody's provided the opportunity to get through all these things. All right. Now we have the next one. Where is it? Let me see. I hope he's here. Okay. Okay. apparently this is my fault. I may have inadvertently didn't download this one and it's not here. Oh my God. How can I express this one? Okay, let me try again. 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 Let me go.
I have all of them. If you'd just like to, please let me know which one you'd prefer, Dr. Nwoye, please.
Is the London. Okay. If you don't see it, don't worry. That was my fault. I know that I had all of them.
If you take a look at your screen, I think you'll find that there, sir.
Okay. My screen. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. You've just saved me, Adam. You just saved me. Thank you so much. Well, Lyndon, I was wondering, what am I going to say to her? Now they've alleviated my worry. They've, should I say, suppressed my worries. So I'm feeling a little bit better, much better. So, Lyndon, this is something that SDIG is providing you for your work in breaking barriers in workplaces, especially for attacking the gender norms people use repeatedly to silence people who speak for equity and social justice for them. And if you don't know Lyndon Thorp, there's a project she's working on. She has been working on. Is titled "Breaking with 9 to 5" and paving the way for people to be able to develop themselves using the power of technology to enhance their abilities and improve their lives and improve the lives of those they are connected with, as well as those who may not be connected with them, but will give them opportunity to live a better life. So for that, Lyndon, thank you so much. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, we are just off by 2 minutes, and it seems like Teresa has something to say. Teresa, go, please.
I just want to say, Joseph, thank you for hosting us and bringing us together. And everyone else, ladies and gentlemen, I am looking forward to connecting with you and learning more about your work and possibly working together. You never know what kind of good trouble we can cause until we talk about causing good trouble. So I thank you for hosting me, and I'm looking forward to speaking with each of you.
John Lewis will be looking down from heaven and saying, "Go, lady. Go, lady." So thank you so much, Teresa. I really appreciate it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that brings this discussion or our work to close. And our amazing guests, we love you guys. Keep doing the work you are doing. All right?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
And the SDIG team, thank you so much for all you did. And Adam, of course, thank you very much. All right. Over
That's
to
my
you,
pleasure.
Adam.
Thank you very much for joining us on this particular occasion. It's great to have everybody here for Friday, the 28th of March, 2025. There is always something special about bringing wonderful people together at the same time in the same way, and there is something that we can share from a young group in South Africa whose ability to touch people is quite remarkable. The group is called Biko's Mana, and here, up to 2 years ago, before they got millions of views, here they are doing something which everybody will remember. From Michael Jackson, man in the mirror from this remarkable young group who have taken the world by storm at such a young age. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being part of the SDIG International Women's Month event, reaching out to all of the speakers, Professor Namita Rajput, Teresa Shaze, Dr. Angela Cleo Smith, and Lyndon Thorp, in absentia, Dr. Gwendolyn Levert and Sima Lieberman. And in the meantime, a little bit from Biko's Mana. That's assuming that things will work the way we'd like them to, which they may or may not do. And if not, well, that's life. We'll see. Yeah, we may not be there, unfortunately, this time around. Let's just try that one more time. Here you go. Biko's Mana from Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. Thank you for joining us. And wherever you come from, God bless. And from SDIG, good night. Yes, indeed. This has been Systemic Diversity and Inclusion Group from London, from Maryland, from around the world. Wishing you all the very, very best. Thank you for joining us. Big thank you to all of our guests. Yes,